Hey everybody, welcome back to Northernlion Plays the Binding of Isaac AFTERBIRTH Plus. Every day is an opportunity to increment that win counter by 1. And I like where we stand right now. VFF4, JKF4. Alright. It's 3 Fs. That scares me. You know what F means. F, you put it in the chat when somebody dies. You press F to pay your respects. I did see... I forget who it was that tweeted it. It wasn't a viral tweet. It was like pseudo-viral. You know, maybe a few hundred likes. And they said, one of my students made me feel very old today when another student didn't know what press F to pay respects is from. And they said, oh, it's a meme from an old video game. Run. And I, you know that gif of like Matt Damon aging? It is Matt Damon. Yo, thank you for Mom's Knife, by the way. We're recording a lot of Isaac tonight to get Mom's Knife feels very good. Also, new room layout? I basically, at this point, refuse to believe that there are rooms I've not seen in the game. So, I think that this maybe has been added. I don't know. It just seems a little suspicious to me, you know? Not suspicious in a bad way, necessarily. But anyway, you know that gif of Matt Damon aging, you know, instantaneously? You don't know it? It's from Saving Private Ryan. You might know it by its millennial name, Dunkirk. Just wanted to see what we had going on here. You know what? I think we do go for that. I did feel that, but I didn't feel it that much, because I've already felt that, you know, whenever people are like, you know, they tell me they were born in, like, you know, the year 2000 or something like that, and I'm like, 2000, how old are you, 6? And they're like, I'm 19 years old, and I'm like, nah, sorry, I don't think so. I've already had that moment, you know? Everybody goes through their own moment there. I don't want to make this specifically like I'm 30-bit, but you get the idea, you know? I'm telling you, it's like the first time you acknowledge that something happened 10 years ago and you have a coherent memory of it, that's when you can start to feel the passage of time. I think we will go for it, honestly. Should not have done that. That was a little bit too risky. But we did use our enhanced invincibility to get out at least. Anyway, this doesn't need to be a bit like that. How are you doing? I'm doing well. It's Friday. Weather's gorgeous here in Vancouver, British Columbia, having a good time. Can't complain. A Friday's always nice. You know, in case you're looking for stuff to watch this weekend, I don't recommend that much of my own content, to be honest, because it seems like it's a little salesmanshipy for me, even if it is the right thing to do from a self-promotional standpoint. But Dan and I recorded some Tarkov to talk a little bit inside baseball. Know people like the inside baseball stuff. What's it like being a YouTuber and streamer? I would definitely, if you're into that sort of stuff, I would recommend checking some of those episodes out, even if you're not that much of a fan of Tarkov. I'm a fan of Tarkov. I enjoy it, but not everybody's in the same boat there, so okay. I don't know why I had to get so belligerent. Sorry. It's always nice to talk about that stuff, because I get, in episodes like this, I don't necessarily, I talk about it now and then, but I don't necessarily talk that much about being a YouTuber and streamer from the complaining standpoint. Sometimes I'll be like, man, people call me stupid, even though I'm not that dumb, and that's about as deep as it gets. But, you know, when you get on a conversation with somebody else about it, it's less like, you know, just one person complaining over and over, and more like, you know, two people having a conversation, because that's like quite literally what it is. Seems a little bit more appropriate in that scenario. So we talk about the good and the bad, and you won't believe our top 5 tips for being a pro #1 for dethroning Ninja on Twitch. You won't believe what #1 is. Thank you, I appreciated that right there. No, that last part is a joke. I do like that Dan has embraced the clickbait meta on YouTube, and I mean this sincerely. I think Dan has a license to use clickbait because Dan also gets clickbaited. He strikes me as the kind of person, and I mean this the way it sounds, who he sees like an ad that's like, you won't believe what this person looks like now, 10 years later, and is the little kid from Jerry Maguire. And I really think that Dan goes, you know what? I would love to know what that kid looks like now. Let's take a look. All right, he looks like a grown-up version of himself. Actually, if I remember correctly, that actor, Jonathan Lipnicki, I thought he got super ripped. Thought that was like what... You know, every child actor needs something. Haley Joel Osment, well, let's not go there. You know, Macaulay Culkin had his Velvet Underground, but all the songs had their lyrics changed to pizza-related puns, etc., etc. Every child actor needs something. If it's not, you know, something like that, it could be something more dangerous. By the way, nothing's wrong with Haley Joel Osment. All I was going to say is that I was trying to construct a joke about how, like, he still looks like himself as a 9-year-old, but is like his face is stuck forever in M. Night Shyamalan's magnum opus, The Sixth Sense, but like the rest of his body was like, it's time to grow up. It just, I think it's just because he was, you know, so iconic that the human mind doesn't know what I'm looking at, you know? I like one of his most recent Tarkov episodes. Just, what was it called? It was just like, I don't say a word in this video, ... And I was like, oh man, he's going for it. And then also, what are you doing here? And it's a couple romantically canoodling on the beach, and then there's a Tarkov scav in the other, hanging out in the other part of the frame. I have, honestly, like, this sounds like an insult. It shouldn't, though, because Dan is like, he's the only content creator I watch on YouTube regularly these days. That's not to say he's the only one worth watching, but, you know, he's the only one I watch. Mostly because I don't mind watching Tarkov, as long as the person who's playing it is having a good time. Anyway, we don't need to keep beating down this, the wrong tree. Beating down the wrong tree? That's not the expression. So, how's this run going? It's honestly like, it can't lose, more or less. With blank card, we're really just in a holding pattern. If we ever need HP, you just wait until you get a blank card, the Gaz, blank card, Hierophant, etc., etc. The one thing I will say is I should be using blank card High Priestess much more commonly, especially given the fact that, no. Especially given the fact that we're going to have it charged up for every boss fight. So this is one of the... We haven't really used High Priestess that effectively with blank card in the past, even though it would probably strike you as like a very usable combination. But Hairpin is helping out. Dude. Explosion immunity. I don't want to go to the curse room just because... I don't know where we're at HP-wise. So I'm a little concerned. I would put myself in a position where we'd lose our Bone Heart. Losing a Bone Heart, does it change whether or not we're going to win or lose? No. But it might change our, you know, our style. It's just not worth it, you know? You know, maybe paying $8 for a sandwich instead of $7.50 isn't going to affect your net worth either, but still, like, you know, you don't want to make a habit of just tossing money down the toilet unless the sandwich is, like, really, really good. In which case, more power to you. Now that we have Abaddon, I mean, $8.50 for a sandwich. It's not, I'm not going to call it a good price, because I mean, it's... We're talking Canadian dollars. I can Americanize it though. You know, let's say we're talking like $8.50 probably becomes like a $10.75 sandwich. Look, I know Subway's got $5 footlongs, but if you're getting out of Subway, which I would recommend, you know, I'm still rolling that Subway boycott because they're suing the Canadian taxpayer. Didn't even mean to step on it. $10.50 for a sandwich is not necessarily unreasonable. Now, you might argue, you know, you're a little out of touch, but I think once... You know, here's the thing. Even at Subway, if you're getting a foot-long sandwich, you're only getting the $5 footlongs, first off, like 8 years ago. And there were only like 6 sandwiches that even qualified, okay? You're doing yourself a disservice by comparing to something like that. You gotta look at, if you wanted to get the Italian BMT, you were probably already paying $8 for a sandwich. Then on top of that, you got the, the local business tax, which is that they don't have the gains from trade that something like Subway does from the perspective of having a mass effect. Look, I've taken Economics 101. It's true, I did. I didn't do very well, for the record, but I would say I have a slightly more than 50% chance to answer any of your economic questions on a basic level. Thank you, Host Hat. Much appreciated. Been taking some dumb damage. But, we always find people do that. I always get accused of being out of touch. I'm pretty in touch. There have been, and Kate will tell you the same thing if you ask her. There have been nights where, Kate's like, I already ate. So, you can do whatever you want for dinner. You know what I do for dinner? I'll just make myself a freaking sandwich. Make myself a salad or something like that. A 75-cent meal. We have the means to... Could have ordered something in. Could have at least put a 20 on the table and gotten a medium pizza or something like that. But I'm not like, how much does a banana cost, Michael? $100? I'm not in that camp. However, I always find on the internet, people... if you told somebody you paid $1 for lunch, they would be like, that's ridiculous. You're an idiot. Whoa, what's it like to be a fat cat? I fly down to Guatemala, buy 300 kilograms of red kidney beans and rice, fly it back. My per unit cost for meal is $3, not $3, 3 cents, 2 millicents. It's like the R frugal philosophy, right? Nobody thinks frugality is a bad thing. Anybody who's out there, I've never been the kind of person who thinks that if someone's cheap, that's like a mark against them. I've heard people, older people, can I just see my HP for once, please? They'll be like, oh, he's a nice guy, but he's kind of cheap. I get it, He's reusing his tea bags. He's making $150,000 a year. It seems a little ridiculous. But nobody's going like, oh, he's a terrible person. I guess it is annoying if you go out for dinner and, he orders the T-bone steak, you order Brussels sprouts, and he wants to, hey, well, there's 4 of us. Why don't we just split the bill 4 ways? That's not cool. That's stealing in my book. But... what I'm trying to say is I don't think frugality is a sin. I am quite the opposite of one of those people who is like, well, you can't take it with you, so 6 jet skis, please. I'm not that kind of guy. But I also think sometimes aggressive frugality on the internet, it becomes, the same way that I always complain about, like, if I ever talk about the weather. And this doesn't just go for me, it goes for, anybody. I don't even think like any streamer. I think any person who talks about the weather with somebody that's from further away, or from far away from them, I should say. It's always like, oh, well, it's cold there? Well, I go sunbathing at the Arctic Circle. So, it's called hypothermia, sweetheart. Look it up. I could cut glass right now. We're getting a little too specific. You're stepping on the wrong dude there. Hold on, let's peep this real quick. Yeah, okay, forget the Fool card. If we want to do boss rush, because... Oh, it is this floor. Okay, so here's what we should do. We should actually definitely hold the Fool card. We'll also hold 2 of Spades for now, because we're not using High Priestess very much. Not effectively, anyway. They always try to, like, one-up you. If you're like, oh, I've been trying to save money, I've been packing my own lunches. They're like, oh, packing your own lunches. That's cool, huh? What I do is I follow the global commodities market, and when red kidney beans are at their lowest price, I purchase them. I make a 730-pound chili, freeze it, and then use it for the rest of the year. And you're like, well, why don't you just make chili like once a week? Do you think I want to pay market price for red beans? You gotta wait till they're in season. You get the idea. That's when the aggressive frugality starts to come out. I guess it's not even that it's frugality, is that whenever you do something, even if it is austere, people call you a fat cat. Oh. He got bread with seeds on it. Must be nice to be a fat cat. Like, dude, you're a fat cat too. You're making the number in your account go higher so you can leave more to your kids to squander. Hold on, I'm just thinking. We've done like the whole floor. So yes, we'll do this. Do we care about the Fool anymore? No. The Fool can go, but we're probably not going to use High Priestess that much anymore. I'm just saying, if you're frugal, enjoy it. But frugality is not a contest, you know, of who can inconvenience themselves the most to save that little extra razor's edge. First off, you got to do what you got to do to survive. That much is obvious. But secondarily, like on top of that, you know, everything else is gravy. Like I have a friend who, well, not a friend, but an acquaintance. And I was telling you that like every month he was posting his spending, his whole monthly spending. I want to point out this is a 30-year-old man. He was posting every cent that he spent for the month on Facebook for reasons. And then, you know, it was admittedly incredible. The man was, he was spending like under $1,000 a month to live as a fully grown adult male living in like the most expensive province in Canada. Now, $1,000 might seem like a lot of money, depending on where you're at in your life. I wouldn't say no to it, but it goes pretty fast if you're doing, you know, rent, utility bills, paying your own groceries, and then you got adult costs like, you know, potentially car insurance, you know, homeowner's insurance, life insurance, I mean, not homeowner's insurance, but renter's insurance, car insurance, etc., etc. Stuff that you basically like is... Car insurance is optional. You don't have to have a car, but, you know, depending on what you do for work, you might need to have a car. You get the idea. So anyway, how did he do this? Well, he had... a roommate or two roommates, which is not, you know, unusual. So his rent, instead of being, let's say, like, you know, $1,200 a month, probably came down to like $300 a month or something like that. And then on top of that, he was using like a cell phone from 8 years ago with a pay-as-you-go plan. So literally, you know, I'm sure if he responded to your text message, they would just say K, which is also fine. You know, I would rather not receive a text message to begin with, so even better. And then, you know, he would literally never eat out. Like, he ate out, he got a coffee. I don't say this to make fun of him, by the way, because he's crushing it in the financial department. It's very impressive. I'm not jealous, because, like, I could do it. I just really, really don't want to. You know, but he bought, like, a coffee and a cinnamon bun and posted, like, a paragraph-long apology. That was like, to be honest, I really regret buying the cinnamon bun, but I was having a moment of low blood sugar, and I didn't know if I was going to have time to get my lunch that I packed from home, so I bit the bullet and bought a $3.50 cinnamon bun. You know, again, more power to him. He's getting to that financial freedom, and I mean that sincerely. It's like I'm very cognizant of the fact that I sound quite judgmental right now. But... that is the point where it's, you know, you don't go, hey man, live a little. Because sometimes I do that. You know, I'm like, I don't really want to go eat at the expensive restaurant. You know, I'm cool with a Big Bite hot dog from 7-Eleven. People go like, live a little. I've explained it a few times, but for me, and I think for a lot of people, this will resonate. Sure, a $30 meal would taste better than a $4 meal. However, and I'll get the $30 meal on occasion if it's a special night, but however, a $4 meal plus saving $26 feels better than a $30 meal tastes. You know? It's not that I'm like, well, you know, those fancy restaurants, they don't hold a candle to just a homemade Johnsonville brat. It's not like that. It's more like, oh, it tastes better, but it doesn't taste 700% better. People, I think, that don't have the frugality bone to any extent, I would say I have it to a small extent. People that don't have the frugality bone to any extent, I think they think like, well, they're spending money. People who are frugal, you know, they're watching them Like in a craven sense. I wish I could get a jet ski. Look at how much fun he's having on the jet ski. One day I'll get a jet ski. But in reality, like, I guess I can't speak for everybody, but, and this is more to defend my frugal acquaintance than anything else. In the end, I'm like, I don't want a jet ski, so I'm not gonna buy one. I'm not gonna buy like frivolous nonsense just to basically enable somebody else to feel good about their own purchase. You know what I mean? Anyway, I'm supporting the frugality. I'm just also saying that simultaneously, you know, you gotta be careful. It's anytime you can put the word militant in front of something, you know, it starts to rub people the wrong way. Unfortunately, I do also think people get out of hand with it. Like when I was a vegetarian, you know, people how do you know somebody's a vegetarian? They'll tell you. I honestly, like, pretty much every vegetarian I've ever met in my whole life, you know, was not militant about it in any way, shape, or form. They're just like, yeah, I don't eat meat. And then, you know, you kind of get inundated with dozens of questions by people every time that, you know, they find out. You know, so they like, oh, why don't you eat meat? Well, you know, moral, environmental, whatever reasons, health reasons. Oh, but if I ate a steak in front, don't you miss bacon? They're like, and dude, I eat meat. You kidding me? I'm trying to get like 200 grams of protein a day right here. It's tough without adding a meat source, without a doubt, but you know, they'll like eat a steak in front of you and be like, does this make you jealous? And you'd be like, no. And it's like, you know, if you like soda, somebody drinks a soda in front of you, how weak do you have to be like, that's not fair? How dare they, you know? Then later, you know, you're like, oh, did you know Jeremy's a vegetarian? The same person who was asking you the questions is like, yeah, he won't shut up about it. Maybe I'm doing the same thing for frugality. Maybe most frugal people are just quietly confident in the fact that they're saving a lot of money. But I'm like, hey, there's this one guy, he reuses his toilet paper. Isn't that crazy? I don't want to be part of the problem. Especially, like, normally I might go a little further, but it turns out today's Isaac episode, I mean, I told you in advance we were in a pretty likely scenario for something like this to happen, but this is one of the fastest runs we've had in recent memory. Triple shot, lots of value, lots of damage. You know, no risk at all of death, essentially. It's a very good run to start your day on. Well, your Isaac day. It is 5:50 p.m. So, you know, I've already recorded 6 videos in advance of this, which might explain why I'm overjoyed that we have a run that's just dominant right now. Anyway, if you're frugal, more power to you. I think it's when you well, I was gonna try to tie it together with something tidy, which is if you use your strength as a weapon to make other people feel bad, that's where it can be an issue. But maybe you're not using it to make other people feel bad. Maybe other people feel bad because they're like, I should be doing that. In which case, maybe you're a motivating force for good. But there is kind of a race to the bottom. Like, I'm waiting for the R Frugal post that's just like, wow, it must be nice to buy your groceries, fat cat. Oh, what do? Just steal them. Did I already go off? I continue to... Every time I go to the grocery store, you know, I get increasingly annoyed by the fact that I have to call someone to validate my parking to get $3 taken off my bill, when I literally, you know, every single good that I put in my cart is just on the honor code to begin with. I feel like that's the closest on a weekly basis I come to being Jerry Seinfeld, where they're like, sorry, sir, I was a little busy. I have to manually look at your parking. You know, I could just say these almonds are bananas. You know what? A bunch of bananas is like $1.75. A single almond requires refinancing your home. And also, like, more water than exists in the entire state of California right now. That's not meant to be funny, by the way. In case you're like, that's not cool. Yeah, I know. Pretty messed up, right? Anyway. I'm just saying. I'm already not stealing. Anyway, for now, thanks for watching. I hope you've enjoyed the episode. However short it might be, I hope you've fallen asleep by now. Let me hit you with a little of this. There you go. Send you off to dreamland. For now, thanks for watching. Hope you've enjoyed the episode. If you did, click the like button. Helps out a great deal. Of course, subscribe if you want to see more in the future. For now, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. See ya.